Alright, so this is my review of CloudyG3 ROM. This ROM came out on June 14th. It's still in its version 1, so it's still the exact same version that came out on the 14th. There is an update that will be released here shortly when the developer gets back from a vacation. Much deserved vacation, as he is a huge contributor to the LG G2 community. And here we have the first available in Langholm's G3 ROM for the G2. Alright, I am running the Duramax kernel. I did test this on stock first, and the Duramax kernel just released, I believe, yesterday with the update, and I flashed that. Alright. One thing I do want you to notice is I have changed the DPI here. I did not change the DPI in the overall phone. As you'll see here, this is still the 480 DPI. The reason for that is this smart notification widget here, one of the main reasons you want to use an LG G3 based ROM on your LG G2, does not function at any other DPI. So I had to use expose and app settings to actually go in, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you this since we're talking about it. And anything you see in red is where I changed the DPI so that it runs at 400 DPI, 400 DPI, 400 DPI. Is it time consuming? Yes, but I can live with it, and I happen to, personal preference wise, like it better. So jumping back over here in the settings, this is another reason why you want the G3 ROM. This is very clean, very minimalistic, very appeasing to the eye, this black with this blue here. I find it, against personal preference, to be much more attractive than the G2 Optimus UI ROM the phone comes with. What you see here looks like a bleed immersive, but I did not have to enable that. It is part of the ROM. Works quite nice and caught me off guard, actually, because I thought maybe I'd enabled it by accident, but I did not. Scrolling through here, I did not change this. I'll go ahead and change it for you. One of the tips here is that LG has changed this configuration down here for your buttons to allow you to have a recents and not a menu button anymore. They don't force that menu button on you. They give you the ability to go right to recents because they revamped how recents look, as you can see here. So they've changed the way the recents works, so they gave you this nice menu, but you can still long press it to get to your menu should you want to, but you also get this nice and convenient, if you so choose to configure it this way, split screen access here, or you can access your split screen, your dual window, if you will, from here. Let's go ahead and change this to the list view for you so it's a little bit more familiar. Alright. Going through from the top to bottom, I can tell you that the tethering does not work. If you go into tethering and networks, this is also where you'll find mobile networks. Here you go. Unfortunately, the process com.android.phone has stopped. The reason why that happens is because I changed the Build.Prop already. So that's not going to work anymore. But as you can tell, the network works just fine once you edit the Build.Prop. And again, you'll find the information on that in the Q&A section, which we linked below. Let's go through our settings here. You got your sound. Here's your volume, vibrate strength, quiet mode. Quiet mode was changed. See how it flows a little bit differently now? It's a little bit more intuitive. I like it. I do. It's very clean. It's very intuitive. It still functions the same, so that's nice. Ring of vibration, ring, vibrate on tab, sound effects, dial pad, touch tone, screen lock sound. So you get all those good things there. You can also announce incoming calls and messages out loud. That's a nifty feature for those who would use it. Display features, here you go. Your standard features you're used to seeing. They did remove the Roboto font. There's a way to get it back in XDA. Let me change the font here for you guys in this video. Make this a little bit easier for you to read. There we go. That's probably making things a little bit easier for you. Smart screen, where the screen stays on when the phone detects your face. So you only get one little setting there instead of two. Here we go with your home front touch buttons, button combination. As you can see, this is the way I like to see LG do it. And they have. Transparent background, you can choose your color. There you go, just like you're used to. And your hide home front touch buttons. Very, very useful. You don't have to use your app settings to get that. It's built right in. Very nice, very welcome. Here's your home screen settings. Smart bulletin. I did leave this on. Theme support is here. Wallpaper. Your screen swipe effect, sorry. Allow home screen looping, and your backup and restore. Now, there have been reports that this does not work. I have not tried restoring it, but obviously it did just do the backup. Here's your lock screen. You do have a couple different effects. I am using the soda right now, and I'll show you that here in a moment. Wallpaper widgets, missed calls, shortcuts, weather animation, which we'll talk about later, and power button instantly locks. Here's your gestures. All your gesture settings are in here. One-handed operation settings. Storage, battery. In your battery you'll see smart charging. This appeared as an unlocked feature from G-Flex, and it's here again. However, the difference this time is that it actually works. But what it does is it slow charges the battery to elongate the battery life. Smart cleaning takes about a good month for this to be useful. Obviously, I haven't had it installed that long, but there it is. It is one of the reasons why you'd want to use this ROM. Apps, there is a fix for this. I installed the fix. I will link you to the fix. Because before, if you were to go in here, this would force close. That's been fixed, and it will also come fixed on the update. Default messaging app, they pulled that out from up here. As you can remember, it used to be up here. Now it's got its own little place right here in the settings. There you have it. Very nice to see. They know the average person doesn't want to dig for it. Good job, LG. Here's your split view. Split view, note, it will do it automatically for whatever you have set in there, so continue to use this method here of dual window. Alright. Other than that, these are all the same. You do get the G3 keyboard, which if you don't know about it, it's quite useful. You can resize it. You can change the key layout. Let's go to settings, keyboard height and layout, bottom row of keys. You can customize this bottom row of keys. You can pull this out completely if you want to, put it back, tell it what you want it to be. Very useful. So make the space bar longer in either direction. You can pull that one out too if you wanted to. You can also do the keyboard height. Alright. Very useful again. It seems like LG was really listening to their customers. You can also change how aggressive the autocorrect is. Quick circle case. I'm not using one, but it's there. Your developer options, here you go. This is where you would switch it to Art. It does work in Art. I did not use it in Art, but other users are reporting successful usage of Art. So why do you want to use the CloudyG3 ROM? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Some of them I've already mentioned when I was going through the settings. But here you have this smart widget here. Very useful. It is limited though. It is limited in its usefulness, I'll give it that. But it has a lot of potential. And it's very pleasant to look at. At least I feel it's pleasant to look at. It is pleasing to the eye. And having it work like it should and not having to do it Zuper style, if you will, is also very welcome. Then you have this over here. I have actually been using this as I've gone back to the gym and started my workout regimens. It's nice to know how much I'm walking at work, so I use this to keep track of how many steps, how many calories I'm burning. It's very convenient. Can I get a pedometer? Of course I could. But why carry no device, even if it's small? So it's a welcome addition, and it is one that is used. Other things, let's go over quick remote here. So there's your quick remote. It'll pull that up right in there. Alright. Now I want to show you this application here. They have changed quick remote. To get access to things like air conditioners, you're going to have to go to universal remote, and then as you can see here, it will support air conditioners and some of the other devices that you don't see here. However, you're going to have that remote and point it at the IR blaster to program it, just like you do for Logitech on the Harmony style remotes when you don't have the remote listed in their list of devices. Right here you have the transparent version of the weather widget for the G3 ROM. It gives you a next 2 day, your current in the next 2 days there, and then of course keeps the time just in case you want to use this instead of the smart notification widget. There is a hack that makes this transparent. I preferred it transparent, and it is in the form. I will make sure I link it in the description below. Other reasons to use this ROM are the camera, art support, not code if your variant supports not code, and well, of course there is the fact that you can hide the navigation bar without having to use exposed app settings. It works natively. It's very clean. Quick memo is nice. They haven't made any significant changes to it or anything really that you're going to notice, but it does work. So they kind of flattened it out some. They did a pretty good job. I mean, they cleaned it up some. It's flatter. It's, in my opinion, it's easier to use. You got the ability to kind of drag down here as well. It works. It works. Free RAM, as you can see, hovers around 860, 800, 600. I've seen it as low as 300 megs before. This ROM probably needs some time to be worked on by the developer to kind of weed out whatever it is. You know, the G3 has 3 gigs of RAM, so it has a lot more room to play around with. So LG didn't have to be real skimpy, although this nice, flat, lighter, less in your face, less intrusive, I should say, interface here is welcome. Apparently it does tend to be on the little high side for RAM usage. Nothing significant though, because unused RAM is wasted RAM, as some would say, and there's never been a moment this phone has stopped working because it ran out of RAM, so keep that in mind. And I'm a pretty heavy user, so if it could have happened, it would have happened. Notice that they added these changes to the icons down here, options wise. You got these letters, you can spell things out. It's gimmicky. I didn't spell anything out, I just abbreviated each of those applications to kind of give them some uniformity across the bottom, because I liked it better that way. But you could spell out words if you wanted to, and that's you know, it might be useful for some. I didn't take advantage of it except for, like I said, to make things match. Alright, so battery life. Here we go. This is on one of the first days of usage here. We're at 8 hours and 59 minutes off the charger. Here's a list of what consumed most of the battery. 2 hours and 20 minutes, and we still had 73% left. So that's a really good start, considering that normally it takes a little while for this ROM to set in. And one of the things that I was trying to determine was whether or not this ROM functions the same it does on the actual LG G3, where it learns your habits to try and save power. Here's your benchmark with the stock kernel, 34,086 on Antutu. For those that are going to say benchmarks don't matter because they put an unrealistic load on the phone, I understand that, but it's still nice to see as a comparison point on how the phone is going to perform. And there is a breakdown of the scores. This is your quadrant score, 19,504. Pretty good there. And these are just some screenshots of editing the Build.Prop, taking the G3, change it to a G2, change it to a G2, etc. You can do all of these things. This is just showing you that when you're setting up the Q remote, they have changed the way the Q remote app works, and I'll go into further detail, but the list, if you changed your Build.Prop first, you will see the American list there, no problem. This is showing you that the 4G LTE is indeed 4G LTE, working fine. Not my best upload speed, but download's pretty regular there. Here's another battery test here. As you can see here, there's been a DPI change. I'll talk about that later. But it's 14 hours and 47 minutes off the charger. 3 hours and 40 minutes of screen on time with still 27% battery left. And if we're looking over here, the last 3 hours I used 25%. So pretty heavy usage toward the end, and I still managed 3 hours and 40 minutes with 27% screen on time. Pretty good there. This is a list of the Build.Prop changes. I will link you to the Q&A page and in the description below, where you'll be able to find all these Build.Prop modifications that you need to make to the phone, or that you should make to the phone. This is just showing you that there is some issues with the weather, animated weather on the lock screen. However, rain seems to work, clouds seem to work, or at least thunder clouds. And with this particular wallpaper, it's kind of cool because the clouds just kind of come right above the building there. It's just aesthetically pleasing, very nice. Here's another drain test. I really tried to take it down this time. There was some pretty heavy usage again. 24% of my use was in the last 3 hours of the phone. This is all the way down to 7% with 17 hours off the charger. I'm going to keep showing you steady usage, and this is overnight. It did not even pull 1% overnight in standby, so very good standby. We got 4 hours and 41 minutes. This is a lot of games and YouTube, and this is me on 4G all day, except for this is me at home. 4G all day while I'm at work. I have discovered that my Wi-Fi options here are actually hurting my battery life because it's continuing to check email. And all three of my Wi-Fi options block one of the 3 email addresses that I check on a regular basis. Those are the wake locks there. This 65 degrees here, this was after playing some games, and this is actually on the Dorimax kernel. Here's another benchmark. This was on the Dorimax kernel, 32,075, 23,513 again on the Dorimax kernel. This is me showing you that it is again, where's that on the, there it is, Dorimax kernel. So GPS works great. It locks fast, works just like stock, at least for the D800 it does. I did not have any issues with GPS. There were a few times when it took a few seconds longer to get a lock, but overall I'd say 90% of the time it functioned just the way it was supposed to and never let me down. G2 tweakbox. I did not get a chance to check all of the customizations here, but the ones that I used did seem to work. I did decrease the size of the navigation bar. Unfortunately, it did not scale the icons down there, so that was kind of disappointing. But it did allow me to clean up the navigation bar at the top, and I used it to add the advanced booting modes without having to again go get another exposed module. So that's very nice. G2 tweakbox doesn't completely work. Apparently there are some people having some issues. However, for me and what I used it for, it worked just fine. No issues there. A2DP was great. I had no issues with A2DP. It shared metadata. It streamed with good quality audio, at least acceptable from my standpoint. On my 4Touch, it did actually allow the head unit to manage the text messages, which is good. It's what I wanted to see. And Kia Uvo, of course, the text messaging didn't work in Kia Uvo, no big surprise there. However, it also supported metadata, no problem, and streamed music rather quickly. One thing to note, I did not have the same issues with Google Play Music failing to playback randomly like I did on many other ROMs, including CloudyG3. So I'm not sure what's happened in this G3 ROM to fix that, but it seems to have been fixed, at least in my experience. And the FM radio app that comes with this ROM does not work, even though it will open up. It will not actually access the FM radio. I am pretty confident that LG has disabled that on this ROM. One other note, this is a phone. Because it's a phone, I've got to comment on call quality. While I did not have an issue with echo, unless on speakerphone, I did have some call quality issues. It did not seem that it was of the same caliber as the stock LG based ROMs in the past. It seems that the audio people had complained about low volume, and when I put them on speakerphone, they hear the echo so bad that they don't even want to continue the conversation. That was a little disappointing. Other than that, though, you are able to make phone calls. So just kind of keep that in mind, and keep in mind that I'm sure improvements are coming. Again, this is being brought to us by CloudyFA, a huge contributor to the LG G2 community. Can't say enough great things about this developer. The time and the hard work he puts in is just phenomenal, and he does this stuff for free. He does it in his spare time. He doesn't expect to get paid. Of course, you get donations, or at least you hope you get donations. I hope he's getting plenty of donations. But again, nothing is expected, and yet he pumps out these fantastic ROMs. Here we go. The phone is completely powered off. We're going to do a power on speed test. See how long it takes for the phone to come up. Alright, timer's going. While this is going on, I don't know if I have that much time, but let's talk about the form right quick. The form currently is at 1,246 posts as of making this video. That's a lot, considering that this ROM was just posted on June 14th. There we go, 26 seconds. See if you can focus in there. Okay. That's actually quite a lot of posts, considering this ROM just posted on June 14th. The issue with the forum currently is that there's a crazy volume of people posting in there, and most of what they're posting are questions that should be going in the Q&A section, or it's people who are posting issues that have already been posted before. They're not searching or asking questions without searching. We've had moderators come into that forum twice already. Probably more than that, but I'm just kind of underestimating here. At least twice that I can recall, and have to clean it up. And so as a word of advice, if you're going to flash this ROM, please read through or search the forum for any issues that you come up with, and go to the Q&A section. There's a lot of useful information there. I will actually link the Q&A section in the description below. On a closing note, I just want to make sure everybody understands that you should check your panel. Make sure you have an LGD panel before flashing this ROM. While I have not seen anybody complain about white lines, I also haven't seen anybody saying, hey, I have a JDI panel and I flashed your ROM. If the white lines happen on stock-based ROMs that aren't configured for the JDI panels, you can probably expect to have that issue with this ROM. Thank you for taking the time to see this video, and hopefully you found it useful. As always, if you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I do keep a baseline backup, which is after I first install the ROM, let it set, and install essential applications only. I go in, make a backup. I keep that backup so that if you have any problems, I can restore that backup and test those for you. Do note there is an install video that will also be linked down below. Make sure you're on the KitKat baseband, or modem rather, the official KitKat modem, unmodified, before you flash this ROM. Thanks, and have a great day.